good to do something. I have 3 of those.
Rising, yeah. The RC.
Let me adjust the camera.
Are you serious?
Small but mighty, my friend. Small but mighty.
Did you get anything? Yeah.
Who's what? These I really like.
Yeah, they're nice.
Take them everywhere. Pack the 3 cameras, set up into a little bag. It's just like autofocus is the biggest game changer. On my FX9, the primes. Yeah. I know taking packing, it's a little tiny body.
Amazing.
Love it.
Yeah, the FX9 size.
Yeah. I hope they come out with more too. By the way, I gotta install I don't know if it was my input or not, but they added it. That's great. Yeah.
Through the computer, they send whatever numbers in there.
That's so funny. They must be limiting the capabilities of it.
Yeah. You can buy.
That's great.
Always the case.
Yeah. Well, that's what's pretty good about they do the free firmware, but they make you wait for it. Good for you. Good to see you. You have one?
No, you get like the FX9.
Yeah. So this, I mean, you could make, you built this out to be a dock camera. Big clothes and one little big thing. The hardware, the plastic, like gray. So I'm hoping that something like two is more robust.
Very fine. Yeah, we're waiting. Hopefully it's in the new budget. Because we were supposed to get FX9 last year. So they put the money in library movie. So like a movie studio. So they parked the library outside the congressman and said, really? It was expensive.
Yeah. And what's the problem with doing the traditional sat draw?
No, it was to bring the guests, so the guests can go into the van. No for COVID or whatever. He all by himself, or some driver with the office. Just have a sit there, and everything automatic, you know, there's no mics or anything, you just sit in the chair. And they can change the background, you know, have some screens to see some background. So, I mean, they spend too much money. Really, it was like, you know, they were like the 10 cameras they need to buy for us. It's just a truck, you know, it's like a little, like one of those sprinters. And it's parked right there on the alley. Waiting to be used again.
Did you tell Melissa?
They spend a lot of money there. They spend a lot of money.
That's good.
And the other guy, Neil, I don't know if you know Neil, biker guy. He's that I know him. He's retiring this year, so he'll be old for now. May, June, he's like, oh shit, I'm next.
Yeah.
But I'm next, and then they do another buyout. He'll be there. So you like to take it?
Yeah.
If not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll be 63 this year. I think 2 or 3 more years. That's it.
I'm in the same boat.
Two kids out of college. That's a really good job, yeah.
Well,
What now? About marketing. Marketing from dental, my daughter. Yes.
well,
Yes. She's doing like power tools, PTI is a power tool company. She sells like over looking for a car. There's a car, computer, phone, gas card.
rocking.
I'm not a salesperson. You're just out of college.
Yeah, paying the bills.
So,
She's like, what, 22?
22. She got another case this week, for Green State in Monopoly. They went to do the social media. She said it's over on 60 or 70, but and I don't have to be anywhere. I can work from home all the time.
Yeah.
Don't burn yourself.
Yeah.
Don't do too much.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to keep doing bartending.
She wants to.
Well, it's a brewery, it's close to home, 5 minutes away from us.
Be around people.
But then you met people at the brewery. So she had like this female friend who's like a manager. She's like 27 almost. She's smart, so she's like what is it, stopping at the 9:30 club.
Yeah.
She's in charge of the bartender.
Okay.
So she said, hey, you want to come? I can give you a pass or whatever, and we can make some money, the days we have events.
That's cool.
But yes.
Yeah, I'll do that too. If I was that age. Sounds fun.
We'll say don't do too much.
So you have two kids?
Yeah. The other one is in Oregon.
Oh, yeah. That's cool, or?
He went to play hockey for the Ducks. But
No
it's,
way.
they finally went on Division 3, but when he played the last 2 years, they were the champions of the A-Pack. But it was not, no money. She had a great experience. She finally, she lost that year because we made a mistake. Say, we're not fucking paying $60,000 just to make, you have to work. Like almost $25 bucks. It's true.
I know. Yeah. I wanted to go to school in Oregon too. It's so expensive.
So he paid, he was very like state, he's state tuition. We only paid 1 year after the state.
Yeah, wow.
So my freshman year, he went to Minnesota to a private college called St. Olaf. To play hockey. It's a hockey town, St. Olaf, Carlston, and then Minneapolis.
Wow.
And then the first girlfriend met her there.
Which one?
Where is she from? From Oregon. From Bend, Oregon. And
Oh, yeah.
so she went back to the high school.
Good, because the second one.
I'm moving back like, I'm not paying, man, I'm not paying $60,000 again.
Yeah.
So we went to New York. He lost so much, he did like 2 classes here, 2 classes there, to the next level. But we finally, we got the diploma this week, like, here we go, Bachelor of Rock Science.
Yeah.
Got science.
That's what I got too. BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Fine arts.
And I'm a fine artist.
It's good.
Oh, yeah.
So now he wants to know, he came home for December for Christmas. On the way back, he saw, what my daughter's doing, and talked to friends here. And he said, I really miss Washington. I don't know anyone out there, trying to get a job out there with college. I think I'm gonna do like, take a year, try to do a paralegal thing. I'm gonna go to law school here. We're helping where we can. So you have free housing here?
Yeah, that's it. Take advantage.
No, we'll see. He's applying, this week he applied for in a law firm in Sir Hansen's guy.
Yeah. Stuff.
No, I have like, this is my gringo kid. He's like, fucking, he's like 6'3", hockey player, man.
Yeah.
This Casey. My wife, she's a man. All the time. my daughter came to Mexican. He's more Mexican.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, one on one. We have a brother and a blonde guy like you. Has like blue eyes and blonde hair.
Blondie.
Güero.
Güero, yeah.
Güerito.
Yeah. I dated a Mexican girl for 5 years and the whole family was ¿Qué tal, güero? Yeah. Always.
Because they start talking güera. Güera, la güera. What does güera mean? Pues güera means güera.
Yeah.
Blonde,
Like,
Yeah, but where did the güera come? And I start asking and nobody knows.
nobody knows.
It's one of those things like, I don't know. I mean, güera with the ears, the two dots on top.
German, maybe?
I asked all my family, nobody knows. Güera, güera, it's güera.
That sounds like German.
Yeah.
Güera?
Like Mexico, there's a big influence of Germans in
Yeah.
Mexico.
Well, that's how my girlfriend's family was. Half of them were traditional
Like the folk
native.
in Texas, the folk out there in the Germany.
Yeah.
There'll be like norteña, Mexican norteña, they'll have the
And she's from Sinaloa.
Wow.
Their music also very like Germanic, polka-esque.
That's a beautiful state. Where in Sinaloa? Culiacan.
Yeah, I think they're like outskirts of Culiacan. I've never been down there.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful state. Big cartels because they have the mountains.
Right.
They were big
And the sea.
Mazatlan, Sinaloa. But not the Pacific.
I want to go.
Mazatlan, and then south is Jalisco, the next state. So you have Sinaloa, Nayarit is a small state, and then you have all those parts of beautiful.
Jalisco's all up and down the coast.
But Sinaloa is right there. Like it's a big stream, and it's very productive. They have lots of That's like the baseball team, los tomateros de Culiacán.
We have to go. I really want to do a road trip down Flat Rock. Just go all the way, surf all the way down.
I did it.
Hey?
I grew up there. I grew up in Tijuana. I'm a Tijuana guy.
Oh, yeah.
From Watertown.
I spent a lot of time in Tijuana. I grew up in Southern California.
Where?
I grew up in Orange County,
Oh, okay.
in Los Angeles County, so every town in Mexico, pretty good.
I know you don't have no idea how many times I drove up and down my
Yeah.
5. North, 101, 405.
Towers on the border.
So I went last year. We went to And now, this is when I was there 20 years ago. I don't know when was that one. If they build a new one or like the infrastructure in Rosarito. I don't think they have one. The next day we went to the right, same thing. And there is a reach and everybody was so fucking close. Oh, no, I remember. Oh, yeah, it is fucking yeah. But I love it, you know, and my friends, you know, all my friends are there. I grew up there. I moved there when I was 15. I stayed when I was 30. So 15 years. I worked in LA a couple of years, but I used to go to my girlfriend was with Ivan and so on. You know, train, I took the chokers, the plane. They had the shuttle. Back then it was TSA, it was like the local. TSA. And it was nice. It was like, you know, $100 to do run, you know, from Burbank to the small airports, you know, like it's a but the train, you know, the train would take 2.5 hours to get over there. Yeah. Then, you know, get in San Diego and then you take the trolley and my girlfriend would come pick me up there, you know. So I had to drive because, oh my God, driving on Monday morning to cross the border, to drive to the all hangover. Because I was flying like crazy. I remember going on Friday night we landed at the newscast, you know, in the local station with all my buddies. That's where the party started in the newsroom. News were done at 11 and drinking before the show. Oh my God. But the Spanish Tijuana was crazy.
I want to go back. I miss that area a lot.
Check it out.
You see?
California. Southern California. bridges.
Mr. President, when President Biden came into office just 1 year ago, he pledged to use the power of the presidency to help everyday Americans, to bring people together, to rebuild our country. He and Vice President Harris are doing just that, proving that America can do big things again. With both parties in Congress, a truly bipartisan effort, President Biden is delivering the largest investment in infrastructure since Eisenhower. So for most people, the largest in our lifetimes. A generational investment, a really big a really big deal. 60 days ago, President Biden gave me a mission upon signing the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law to help build a better America. It should not go unnoticed that the key part here is better. So what does a better America look like? Better looks like modern roads and bridges, rail and transit, so we can get to school and work on time. Better looks like high-speed internet so that all of our kids have the tools they need to learn, so farmers can use precision agriculture, and so that seniors can access telemedicine and so much more. Better looks like removing lead pipes, cleaning up abandoned oil and gas wells that dirty communities, building 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations that prepare us for our future. Better looks like creating good-paying union jobs, a top priority for this president. The better is making it possible for companies to manufacture more products right here in America, to build our supply chains here so that Americans can get what they need more efficiently and lower cost. Better looks like using this investment in our infrastructure and our people to build more resilience and combat climate change, which threatens us all. And finally, and most importantly, better looks like rebuilding America in ways that move all of us forward with equity at the center of everything that we do, so that no community and no person is left behind, because we are better together and because diversity is this nation's greatest strength. That is what building a better America looks like. Mr. President, your team has hit the ground running. 60 days in, billions of dollars are headed to the people of America through the states, local governments, territories, and tribes. We're breaking down silos across agencies. This is a one-team, one-fight mission to build a better, stronger America. And since we haven't spent this kind of money on infrastructure in generations, we're also talking about how to do it with accountability, making sure we can be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and deliver results on time, on task, and on budget. Mr. President, with this cabinet and the partners we have on the state and local level, with community leaders and the people of this great nation, we are up to the challenge. It won't be easy. Nothing worth doing, if ever is. So, Mr. President, you set a very high standard, but we're going to put our shoulder to the wheel, and we're going to get it done for our beloved country. Thank you. Please welcome the President of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, Mitch. It is, there's a lot of talk about disappointments and things we haven't gotten done. We're going to get a lot of them done, I might add. But this is something we did get done, and it's of enormous consequence to the country. One of the reasons I put Mitch Landrieu in charge of implementing the infrastructure bill is because he gets it. He's a former mayor who knows that the real measure of success is not, did we score some partisan points? It's, did we fix the problem? Did we fix the problem? This is all about fixing the problem. I ran for president to unite the country. This bipartisan infrastructure law I signed 2 months ago unites us around things we all depend on. Whether you're in rural Kentucky or downtown Philadelphia, you should be able to turn on a faucet and drink clean water. Students should be able to get the internet if they need it to do their homework at home instead of having to drive to a fast food parking lot. People need good jobs. Mitch just told me about the man he met in Jackson, Mississippi, who told him, quote, "I don't mind working 3 jobs. I just don't want one paycheck across all 3 jobs." You know, we've heard it said, talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. When we invest in infrastructure, we're really investing in opportunity. These are investments that will build a better America. Sounds like hyperbole, but it's real. So today I want to talk about the progress we made in 2 months since I signed the bill into law, and to make a big announcement as well. Here's some of what we've done so far. The Department of Transportation has released nearly $53 billion to states to modernize highways. So you have to leave 30 minutes earlier to get to work just because of a traffic jam. That's going to be fixed. We've announced more than $240 million in grants to improve ports in 19 states to speed up and strengthen our supply chains, lower cost, and get you the things you need more quickly. We've announced $3 billion for over 3,000 airports around the country to make them more modern, safe, and sustainable. And we're kicking off the largest investment in affordable, reliable, high-speed internet in our nation's history, $65 billion to get to every corner of our country connected, urban, rural, and suburban. Our infrastructure work also protects health, cleans up the environment, and helps us fight climate change. Across this country, people have been struck, and they've been struck by all the changes that are needed. They're stuck, they're angry, they're sickened by the broken water and sewer systems, polluted water from the faucets, raw sewage in their backyards. I want you to know, I see you, I hear you, we understand. And I've seen and we've understand the damage done in places like Flint, Michigan, and Jackson, Mississippi. So we've already announced over $7 billion in clean water funding to states so they can fix and upgrade their aging water systems and sewer systems. It's going to take some time, but the money's there and they're getting the money. Our children deserve no less. We've also released an action plan to replace all of our nation's lead pipes in the next decade. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Everyone in this country should be able to turn on the faucet and drink clean water. And it's time to get back to the business of cleaning up the hazardous waste sites that poison our land and water and have stricken entire communities, and getting back to holding polluters accountable to keep that pollution from happening in the first place. The Environmental Protection Agency has announced $1 billion to clean up 49 Superfund sites in 24 states. We're talking about cleaning up rivers in Ohio, chemical plants and sites in Florida, polluted lakes in Michigan, and many more. This is long overdue, and we have to stick with it. The Department of Interior is launching a program to cap and plug orphaned oil and gas wells that are spewing methane into the air and are dangerous. Many of these wells are in southwestern Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio, but there are hundreds of thousands of them all across the nation. Capping them is going to create quality jobs, just as it took to dig the well, union jobs to close the well, to keep it safe. One of the ways we're going to reach my goal of 100% carbon pollution-free electricity by 2035 is with wind energy. I visited one of the renewable energy labs in Colorado about a month ago and saw technologies being developed there. And just this week, the Department of Interior also announced the largest ever offshore wind lease sale, which could generate enough clean energy to power nearly 2 million homes and create thousands of jobs in manufacturing, construction, operations, and maintenance. It's just the beginning. Jobs that can't be outsourced. We've also seen the impact of extreme weather, taking down transmission lines, leaving cities and communities dark for weeks. So the Department of Energy launched a new initiative to speed up our efforts to strengthen our energy grid with new and upgraded transmission lines and towers, keeping the power flowing for Americans with cleaner, cheaper, and more reliable energy. And that's going to happen. It's going to make a big difference. I also want to be clear. We're in this to win. And, you know, there's a lot of work underway. And it's going to create a whole lot of jobs. And that brings me to the announcement I want to make today. It's just part of the infrastructure bill. My bipartisan infrastructure law includes the largest investment in our nation's bridges since the creation of the interstate highway system. Bridges to connect us, bridges to make America work. Across our country right now, there are 45,000 bridges, 45,000, that are in poor condition. We're seeing photos of some of them behind me in all 50 states. And I've had a chance to see some of them myself as I've traveled the country. I was up in New Hampshire, visited a bridge where, if it's not upgraded, weight restrictions could mean that school buses and fire trucks would have to travel an additional 10 miles out of the way to get to the other side of the river to deal with getting to school and/or putting out a fire. In New Jersey, I just visited the busiest rail bridge in the Western Hemisphere, but because it's not tall enough for ship traffic, it needs to swing open to let barges through. And sometimes when it closes, the rails need to be manually sledgehammered back into place. This slows commerce, increases cost. I went down to Louisiana and saw the I-10 bridge. I stood with the mayor and looked at that bridge. It's 20 years past its planned life. It's handling more than double the number of crossings it was designed to handle, and it's 2 lanes narrower than the interstate that feeds into it, causing backups and accidents. Today, the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, is in Philadelphia at the Martin Luther King Bridge, which crosses the Schuylkill River. The bridge is no longer safe for vehicles, even though it used to carry 25,000 vehicles a day. As we prepare to celebrate Dr. King's birthday, we're also reminded that too often bridges and highways were built through the heart of historic communities, particularly black communities, cutting off families, churches, and businesses. We're going to use our infrastructure investments to reconnect communities. One thing I'm certain of, everyone out there knows what I'm talking about. People have written me about bridges they depend on. One man told me that the bridge he traveled on every day is a tragedy waiting to happen. One woman wrote that a bridge near the center of her town had to be closed, and now drivers and tourists bypass downtown, consequently devastating local businesses. And one person wrote to me to say, quote, "This is your chance to show the people in my area that they matter to you," end of quote. I hear you. I hear you. You do matter to me, and we are going to get it done. My infrastructure law includes a total of $40 billion in funding for bridge improvements. $12.5 billion of that is going to replace the most economically significant bridges in the country. These are bridges like, and I've seen them, the Brent Spence Bridge, connecting Ohio and Kentucky, the I-5 Columbia River crossing, connecting Washington and Oregon, you know, the Blatnick Bridge, connecting Minnesota and Wisconsin. But about 2/3 of the bridges in need of repair in this country are considered what they call off-system, because they're not directly connected to the interstate highway system. These are the bridges that are often overlooked when decisions are being made, but they are essential for small towns, rural towns, farmers to get their products to market, small businesses to be able to serve customers. These are the bridges that, when they're closed, shut off deliveries and routes to school, work, and home. They create longer delays for first responders when every second counts. So we've included $27.5 billion for smaller bridges, including dedicated funding for those off-system bridges I just described. And because maintaining these bridges is often the responsibility of counties or towns whose budgets are stretched thin already, we decided to get rid of the requirement that counties or towns share in the cost. The federal government is going to pay for 100% of the cost for repairing these small bridges. Today, we're releasing the first year of that program, which is $5.5 billion. $5.5 billion to states and tribes to repair and rebuild bridges to make them safer and more usable. This is an investment that's going to help connect entire towns and regions to new opportunities. With this investment, we're sending the message to those communities and to the people who call them home. You matter. We're building back and building back better with you. We're making sure you're not left behind or left out. I'll end with this. These investments are consequential. We're just getting started. We're building back better than ever before. Clean water for every American. We've never done that before. Now we're going to do it. High-speed internet for every American. We've never done that before. Now we are. Connecting forgotten communities, capping wells that are dangerous, strengthening our power grid to make it more resilient to extreme weather changes. These are investments our country has never fully made. Now we are. You know, and we've arrived at this by a bipartisan agreement. There's nothing beyond our capacity when we work together. When we get this done, we'll get back to beating the world again. We've once again been #1 in the world instead of where we sit now at number 13 in terms of the quality of our infrastructure. And that's going to mean more jobs, good paying jobs, safer communities, and lower costs. We can do this. This is what a better America is going to look like. I want to thank you all for listening, and we got a lot of work to do. And the reason I asked Mitch to do this is because he knows how to get things done. I want every penny watched how this is spent. Just like when I did the Recovery Act in the last administration. It matters. It matters. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.